there and there. All right, so first things first, name and title, please.
Troy Torgerson. I am a facility planner with Marathon County. My role in the project is the project manager for it.
For the North Central Healthcare upgrades, correct?
Yes, the North Central Healthcare addition and renovations.
And as, of course, specifically here today, we were talking about something that kind of snuck up on you a little bit, and that is how tall the building is and its location relevant to the downtown airport, correct?
Correct. We were under the impression we were using 2005 FAA regulations for the heights that were allowable for buildings in the location we were proposing. In 2007, we came up with another, the heights lowered, and we weren't sure of the reasons why, but for the 4-story new long-term patient bed tower, we were over just about 15 feet over that height. So we had to go to the FAA and get a variance, and they gave us the green light for everything we could do from the Federal Aeronautics Administration standpoint. And today we're here, and we met with the Zoning and Variance Committee here today to get their approval.
And they did grant the approval because, from what I kind of understand, just gathering and listening to the conversation, I mean, it's not a problem. It's not like the planes are going to be accidentally landing on top of the building, but it is something that the FAA does need to be made aware of, correct?
They definitely do. I mean, it is close enough to the airport that in certain circumstances, a plane could be close to that and would need to know where that's at. I mean, coming from different approaches, you've got Rib Mountain on one side, you got Lake Wausau on the other, and this is a taller building than what's on site now by give or take 15 feet. So it's taller than anything that's on the current site.
And it's something that can certainly make a difference for a pilot, right?
Absolutely. Can change your approach, can change your what angle you take. All those things come into play. We had to go through, I think, 15 or 20 government agencies to make sure that we were all good for the FAA.
But everybody has said that there shouldn't be an issue with this, and we're good.
Yeah, no, we're good to go. The FAA letter came back straightforward and said there are no problems. We're good to go here with the project.
And I think just from what I've observed here, I mean, there's actually trees on this property that are going to be taller than the buildings. So.
That's correct. Off of Sturgeon Eddy in Kent, on the northwest corner of the project, there's actually a row of pine trees, and I want to say that these are going to be they're probably about 20 feet to 25 feet taller than what this building will be by the time it's all said and done.
So from that standpoint, you're good to go. I mean, there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about this building.
Correct.
And a discussion that you've been involved in. And from
yes,
what
absolutely.
I understand, every community input session, most everybody that you've talked to that would be impacted by this building says that they're happy with the way that NCHC has listened to that input and has tweaked the plans.
Absolutely. The one thing that we set out to do was to be good neighbors in the whole process. When the neighborhood came to us and voiced their concerns, we listened, and we came right back to them and said, you know what, we heard what you're saying, and we're going to move this location for the buildings that are outlying on the main campus, and then put up a berm so that it's actually going to have a nicer view. Looking from Marshall Street to the west, we'll have a nicer view than what there is currently now.
So everything so far, and as far as this process goes, give us an idea kind of where you're at. When do we think we maybe have a shovel in the ground?
We are in the middle of the design document phase of design, which getting us to it, we probably have about 6 more weeks of design before we can go out for bids. Shovel in the ground, knock on wood, I'd say we're probably at the end of June, first part of July, right around that time frame for the first 2 phases, which the first phase is the aquatic therapy pool, which was that phase had to be done first because of the awesome donations made by the community. $3.3 million, I believe, was the total amount there. But the community-based residential facility, the separate building, and the youth crisis building will be also done at that same point in time.
So talking start to end on construction then, how long are we looking at there?
From the beginning, if we start construction this summer, we're probably a 3-year total time frame because we've got 4 phases, and that's total of 4 new buildings. I had to count them up just to make sure I had them all there separately. It would be in 4 new buildings, plus the renovation of the existing Mountain View Care Center, some selective demolition of various parts of it to accommodate what we're doing, and then re-landscaping and putting everything back into the state that it's in today, or in a different state. Like the parking lot will be the same but different, and the green space right along Kent and Marshall Street, we're going to redo that. That's going to become a construction laydown area. That'll be one of the first things that happen, and then that'll be one of the last things that'll take place to get put back into normal.
Now, it's rattling off all these streets here just like that. I mean, that tells you how deep you are into this process. You've got this whole thing memorized.
It's amazing. I didn't know much about this. All the streets in the neighborhood until this. I'm well versed in where everything's at and who's who's going to be impacted by what portion of the project. I mean, we're going to take a lot more time, talk with the city, go through, how we're going to bring in construction traffic, how we're going to, where public entrances are going to be. All these things are taken into consideration because safety for the neighborhood is first and foremost in our mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that you've proven. You've talked about the discussions that you've had with the neighborhood, how you
Correct.
ended up tweaking the plans and moving the buildings. I mean, this is just one of those examples of you have these public input sessions. It's not that everything goes in one ear and out the other. I mean, you're genuinely concerned about the neighborhood.
Absolutely. When it came about, I've had some very one-on-one conversations, not just the community meetings that we've had, but I've been to one-on-one conversations with many of the neighbors. And excuse me, when they're talking about it, this is their home, this is their neighborhood. Construction of this size, it's a fairly good sized construction project with the dollar amount and the buildings that are going into it. So we listened, and when they had a concern, we took that into play and we made it happen.
Anything else that you'd like to add, Ben?
No, I'm just very happy that the project is moving forward again, and we're looking forward to being great neighbors as we go through this, and it's going to be a great resource for all the city of Wausau and all the counties around here.
All right, perfect. Well, I'll stop right there.